Good evening and welcome to my channel. Tonight's video is going to be about the Rights and Duties Management System in Dual Universe, or RDMS. The RDMS is kind of a clever system that allows you to share constructs such as ships, buildings, and space stations, and territory, like the hexes that you claim on Sanctuary or on Alioth or any of the other planets, with other players or organizations. And it also allows you to set certain permissions or restrictions so that the people that are using your stuff can only use it in a way that you want them to. So we are going to start with, I will show you how to share this ship, a new hauler that I built, with another player. So to start, to access the RDMS, press Tab, and it's over here on the left with the lock next to it, or alternatively, if you see here, you could just press F7. Once you're in here, if you are in one or more organizations, you will see them across the top as well as your own name. So in this case, the ship is owned by me, not my corporation, so I'm going to click on my name, and then I'm going to go down to the bottom right here and go create, and this will create a new policy. Policy name will be Share the Hauler. It's a brand new ship that I just built, and let's say that I want to share it with my organization, so Red Light Industries. So I just come over here and I start searching for them, and here it is, it pops up. Once I select that, I click Add. Don't forget to do that, I've done that before. The nice thing is I could share this with my organization or just a few players. For example, I'll put a friend on here that's not a member of the organization, and add him as well. So under here, actors, these are people or organizations that you want the policy to apply to. After you've selected your actor or actors, then you come over here to the rights column, and this is where you select what they're going to be able to do. So in the case of the hauler, I obviously, if I'm letting people use it, want them to be able to fly it. I want them to be able to repair it if they damage it. I want them to be able to put items in the containers, take things out of those containers, and yeah, to fuel the vehicle, that kind of thing, right? So I come into here, and here is a giant list of permissions. If you do not give the permission, then it's not there. It's very a permission-based system, not a restriction-based system. By default, the other people don't have access to any of this stuff. One critique I do have is that there's no way to filter these rights. So all of these here, some of them will really only apply to territories, some of them will really only apply to constructs, but unfortunately they're always in the list all the time. So anyways, if anybody is using the ship, I want them to be able to board the construct. I want them to be able to maneuver the construct, which allows them to use the maneuver tool to pick it up and move it around if they need to. I want them to be able to put items in the containers. I want them to be able to repair the ship if it gets damaged. I want them to be able to view the contents of any of the containers on board. I want them to be able to retrieve items from any of the containers on board. And last, and don't forget this one, board construct, you may think that that means that they can now get on board and fly it. It does not. The control chair or cockpit or whatever you have on the ship is an element, and you need to grant the permission to use element, and that will also allow them to use any like switches on board as well. So once you are satisfied that you've selected all the rights that you want, come over here to the tags category. As a heads up, anytime you deploy a territory unit or a sanctuary unit or a core of any sort, it will automatically create a tag for you, which is kind of nice. So I'm just going to go down here to the Red Light Obsidian XSCT, because that is the ship that we had there in the background, and click Add. So now, just to recap, so we have the name of the policy here, Share the Hauler. It's going to be shared with all of Red Light Industries, as well as Goulash. And what I'm giving these people the permission to do is board the construct, maneuver it with the maneuver tool, put items in any of the containers on board, repair the construct if necessary, view the contents of any containers on board, retrieve items from the container, and use any elements on board. And they can do that all with the construct known as red light obsidian XSCT. And then I hit save policy, and here it is. Share the hauler. If you can see, it applies to 2 actors, gives them 7 rights, and with respect to 1 tag. So you may wonder what all these other auto policies are about. So you may have seen, playing the game so far, that if you go up to a construct of some sort and right-click on it, go to construct, there is an option here to share your construct with friends, organization, or publicly to anyone. Obviously, probably not something you want to do with with your ship and have somebody take off with it. But anyways, once you do that, it automatically creates one of these with the rule of whatever it is that you just did. So now that I've shown you how to share the construct, we'll do the same thing, but this time with a territory. So I just claimed a territory for myself near our industry territory, near our organization territory, and I want to be able to give all of my organization buddies the ability to do some stuff on it. So I named the territory Red Light County, so I'm just going to call the policy use Red Light County. So in this case, I want to share it with the other members of Red Light Industries. So I'll select them and go add. Now for select rates. So I'm going to be pretty generous with the use of the territory, and you don't have to. You can be a little bit more restrictive, but let's say that I want them to be able to build their own little house on it. So I'm going to say that they can deploy a core unit. That they can deploy a static core unit on territory. Static cores are obviously the building cores. If they're on my territory and for whatever reason they feel like building a ship there, then they need to be able to deploy a dynamic core unit on territory, so we'll add that. I want them to be able to harvest the resources that are on the surface, so harvest on territory, which is separate from mine on territory. And mine on territory, while we're on that topic, is separate from dig on territory. I don't want them creating all sorts of gopher holes and making my territory ugly, so I'm not going to add dig on territory or mine on territory, which will kind of confine them to the surface. And let's see, do I want to give them anything else? I don't think so. So anyways, for tags, again, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, when you claim territory, it automatically adds a tag for it. So we just go down here to Red Light County and add. So to recap, this policy here, called Use Red Light County, applies to all of the employees of Red Light Industries. It'll allow them to deploy a static core unit on the territory, deploy a dynamic core unit on the territory, and harvest the surface materials on the territory. And the territory that this applies to is Red Light County. Save policy. And that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Like I said, I will make a more in-depth video for the RDMS system that tackles, a little bit more of the tag feature and things like that. So make sure you follow the channel so that you're notified automatically when that comes out. And yeah, if you like this, make sure to hit the like button. And if you have any questions about RDMS or any suggestions for future videos, make sure to type that in the comment section below. Thanks very much.